What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Thirsty Smurfing Thursday. That's a crow. There's a crow somewhere hanging around here. That was a good movie. I am not a movie guy at all, but I did enjoy The Crow. And you know why I enjoyed The Crow is because Sting, on his revamp in the WWF, came out with the crow face paint on, and man, that was like, how dark was it? And man, that was the coolest thing in the entire world. Anyway, point being, welcome. You have entered the no. We're gonna call this the no friend zone. Is what we're gonna name this, because we are not scumbags, but we are a-holes. I'm gonna bleep it at least for the first 5 minutes of this, so that way YouTube doesn't dock me on it. But yeah, we are not scumbags, but we are a-holes, and if that's an issue, then I promise there's a lot of other lawn content out there that's gonna have some people that'll pat you on the rear end, tell you you're beautiful when you're not, and make you feel good. We are not here to make you feel good. We're here to make you question your sanity. And it's projection. I'll be honest. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not projecting my own insanity onto everyone else around me. I love my dear wife, and it's amazing she's still with me, because it's hard to look a psychopath in the eyes like myself all day, every day. That's a joke, of course. I love you, baby. I think I heard the front door close. I think she left. We'll be back, right? She's not coming back. That's a joke.
Oh no.
Anyway, alongside me we have Ray Ito. We have special guest du jour. We have Mr. Aldo Beltran is here today. And Demay is going to be hopping on here in a little bit. Gentlemen, so I want to start this off with, and I gave that very aggressive open about how mean and angry we are. Psychopathic is one of the words I use there, because that's a lot of the comments that are posted on the videos that they get flagged by YouTube, and I forget to publish them every once in a while. Once a week, I'll go in there and I'll find video comments that have been flagged by YouTube, and they don't make it into the mainstream, and it's funny. It's like, you people are all a-holes, you people are homophobes, you people are racist, you people are polluters, you're environmentally destroying the world. I hope you die. You should kill yourself. Bleep that, J Pink. My bad. I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube either. We get lots of lovely messages out there, because we will take some controversial takes from time to time. Now, I'll explain to you why oftentimes we have controversial positions. I would like to introduce to you a new patron member here. And if you're into that kind of thing, I'll explain to you how to do that shortly. But I want to show you the value of what you get as being a patron member. You'll see him down there in the chat. It's Your Next 367. By the way, thank you for your service. And it's a shame that our service member would get duped over someone being the scumbag portion of a scumbag. We are not scumbags, we're assholes. They did this backwards. They're not assholes, they're scumbags. And here's the case in point. Can we throw up that little clip there, J Pink, the snippet that you took? And I'll explain what happened. Is Your Next was watching. My wife said, "I love you, my weirdo. I love you too, baby girl." She must really love me, because weirdo is not. That's an understatement. She's making me sound nice. Your Next here says, I've spent all winter watching lawn videos. I really wanted to have my lawn for the first time this year. I really wanted to do something special with it. I spent all winter watching lawn videos, and guess what I bought? I bought MSMA. So now I have a gallon of that. Now, what's funny about that is, first, he saw MSMA recommended on a lawn ginger video. The Pest and Lawn Ginger made the recommendation. And of course, we bought the domain msmasucks.com. I say we. It was actually J Pink did that, because we have a producer that could kill not not with words, but with a sleight of mind. Some people have sleight of hand. J Pink has sleight of mind, and so he acquired msmasucks.com. By the way, can you go to that URL real quick, J Pink? Is that the one I think it is, or is that serialdomesticabuser.com? I can't remember. Um, no. Let's do serialdomesticabuser.com, because this right here is again, when we talk about scumbag instead of asshole, we're going to zoom in on that. Boom, you hear what that is? That is a 40 mic to the chest of old boy down there via elbow, launched by Ginger there. Incredible contact, and that just screams awesome. Anyway, he made the recommendation to use MSMA on Dallas grass. And so you're next, being an unsuspecting new member of the community, said, "Yeah, I'll do that." Well, come to find out, now he has a gallon of it, and he lives in Indiana. He has cool season grass. So not only does he have a product that you can apply to residential lawns, he has a product that is not even sufficient for his turf grass, and he has a product that would only potentially control one weed that does not grow in his area. So not only did he swing and miss on one, but two, and a strikeout through and through here, and that's no fault of his own. He was just following the advice he got on the old boob tube here, and it set him up for failure. It's a good thing he didn't go applying that to his lawn, because boy, he would have been in a world of hurt.
He would have been the world's sorriest person.
I know. He'd have been like, I don't get it. I hate lawn care. I hate my yard. I hate the ginger. I hate myself. And I quit.
You're next. If you have a pesticide product that is banned, no longer registered, illegal for use, whatever, get in contact with your Indiana state chemist, because they are the people that can probably guide you regarding something like this, because the Indiana State Chemist's Office would like to have people turn in or otherwise properly dispose of products that they shouldn't have. Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're next. I'll explain what will happen to you next. Is the IRS will kick in your door, shoot your dog. I'm just kidding. They'll come and confiscate your guns. I'm just kidding. Just turn it into
actually,
the
Matt.
Chemist.
Actually, Matt, you know what'll happen is it ain't going to be the IRS that kicks in doors in this case. It'll be the freaking EPA. They can kick in doors.
Yeah,
they can kick in doors.
Indiana version of it. Anyway, I'm just teasing about the last part there. I'm being silly. Anyway, boys, how are you doing? Aldo, how are you? Talk to me.
I'm good, man. Just another day. J Pink here was like, "Yo, come on." I was like, "All right, man." So here I am.
What's going on with class right now? Anything good? Is there anything you've covered lately that you just find incredibly titillating, that's just stimulating the shit out of your brain in a great way?
Well, I just finished my spring session, and we were covering 2 classes. One was pests, and the other was soil fertility. The pest was like really like deep diving into like best management practices, whether it be disease or insects or weed, whatever.
Whatever.
Really, I learned a lot from it. Of course, I got A's on both, so holler at your boy. And yeah. I was looking forward to that one specifically because the whole disease part of it, which is a large chunk of the whole class, and learned a lot from it. I still feel like I barely know like anything about it, but again, that's something I don't deal with, so I don't see it in the real world like all you guys do. So hopefully, by the end of this course, I'll have a little more firm grip on it than before.
Has anything been presented that you saw that you were like, holy shit, that's crazy?
Well, yeah, at the top of my head, on a discussion on grubs, we were talking about the scarab family of like those beetles, and for fun, Professor threw it in there. I don't know if you've ever seen a Goliath beetle, but those motherfuckers are like
Huge. Yeah.
they're grub.
Big.
Or
When they're
massive.
in
It's a
the
meal.
grub stage, dude, yeah, it's literally like a fucking. It's so big, dude. And I'm like,
Jeez.
oh my god, like just that's gonna eat your tree down or something, your tree roots. But yeah, that was crazy.
Don't
He
say.
showed us those
Yeah.
and another really rare beetle like from South America. It's like, he's like, you guys are good. They don't grow. They don't live where we are. They're all down there, so you guys are fine. Like, you don't have to wake up to a head-sized grub in your property. Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, that's something I was just like, holy shit, dude. They're not just like little itty bitties, in the dirt. Some of these motherfuckers can get really big.
Yeah, they will. They'll eat your live oak. It appears. That's interesting. That's super cool. I can't say I ever learned anything about Goliath beetles in school, but that is something I have seen browsing the more dark areas of the internet before and accidentally unpacked, and shocking to say the least there. We are going to open this up as a call-in show. You can write in questions. You can email us, mail@thegrassfactor.tv. You could post questions in the chat. We can do that, or feel free to call in 304-80-GRASS. It's 304-804-7277. Pick your poison. Some people get nervous about calling in. That's 100% fine. You can write in. We will get to it to the best of our ability. A couple things to note here. We're going to do the lawyer speak out of the way. We are human. We are fallible. We do make mistakes. Verify everything we say. Because you got to think, as we are talking to you, we also have a private chat that we're in, to try and keep the you can call in. You're next, to try to keep the flow of the show going. And then, of course, we're trying to interact with everybody on here. And so a lot of times it can get a little chaotic. So
Go ahead, cowboy.
bear with us. We will. What is going on, caller? You are live.
Hey, can you hear me?
We got you loud and
Yes.
clear. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jason from North Carolina, the little turf kid.
Oh, hey,
Pew,
hey!
pew, pew. How about that for an intro? What's up,
What's
big
up?
dog? What are you doing?
Sitting on my back porch, man. What are you doing?
Man, you see it, staring at the monitor and a camera here. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah, I think I talked to J Pink. I think I have a Thirsty Thursday. I think it's set up for July 13th, maybe. I think
Hey,
what it was, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I'll come on and shoot the shit with you guys. But I had a question, or two questions.
Sure.
So first, I did an application at my house just to mess around of Tenax and Anu on common Bermuda grass.
Mm-hmm.
So according to growing degree days, from what I'm kind of looking at, it's roughly about 350 of regulation. So I made the application at 1774, and right now, let me look. Right now we are at 2213. I am still
Whoa.
under regulation quite heavy. So
I can
the
explain.
question is,
Are you rotary mowing?
yes, roughly about an inch.
That's why. That's exactly why,
Okay.
Jason. Because the whole growing degree day calculation, that was
Yeah.
based on application of PGRs to bent grass greens. And bent
also,
grass
what-
greens
Okay.
are
Good.
and
go
bent
ahead.
grass
Sorry,
green.
Ray.
Okay, and bent grass greens, they have this funny property, but because they're being mowed so low and often, they metabolize that PGR like quick, like fast. Versus if you spray out PGR on lawn height or rotary mowed turf grass, there's two issues with doing that. Issue number one is your PGR application is contacting much more leaf surface area at time of application versus a golf green being mowed at 1/10 of an inch.
Makes sense.
Second issue is that your turf grass is also not having as much leaf tissue being mowed off as often as it would be on that bent grass green. So, in real life, on non-green turf, turf that is not a golf green, I typically see up to 3 to 4 weeks of regulation on that type of turf grass. It can be that much.
Okay, then that makes a lot more sense, because the way I was kind of looking at it, and I was even talking to my chemical rep, and I was asking, I was like, so if the T-Nex, if the rate I went out, if it was like 280 to 350 growing degree days of suppression, and then the anew, if you just calculated it, I don't remember, it was like 200. I was like, do I add those together, or do I just because the way I did it last year was just, and I didn't add the anew in, but the way I did it last year was just measuring clipping volume, and just kind of reapplying basing off that, and also looking at growing degree days. But I was just, and that makes a lot of sense, Ray, honestly, because like you said, you're not pulling as much off, and so, but I feed it like crazy. That's the other part, which is,
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
What rates did you apply? I'm curious.
Yeah, how much?
So,
how much?
I believe. Let me pull the label up. It's been a hot minute. One moment. I've got it right here. So yeah. So for common on the label, it's 3/4 of an ounce per acre, or per 1,000 square feet. So 33 ounces per acre. I did not go that high though. I did not.
Okay.
And a new holy shit.
Okay.
No,
okay. Because you know what?
I did. I actually no. Hold on. I wrote it down on my phone. Yeah, it's right here. So I did 15 ounces an acre of T-Nex, and then a new. It was the
another
1/4 ounce per 1,000 rate. So
to put that into perspective,
10.
typically on common, I'm running like 10, 11 ounces of T-Nex.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's not to say anything's wrong with your rate. I'm just saying it doesn't shock me that combining AIs, it is curb stomped to holy hell. Like that is, I personally would go into it with that. It's not a bad thing. I'm sure it looks jam up and boozing and cruising and all that, so it is what it is. If it ain't dead, it's alive, and that's party on. You know what I'm saying? So no harm, no foul.
Shit out of it, man.
Oh, it did burn the shit out of it.
Just a little bit.
There was, just a little, but then
I missed that part.
here's the thing though, is
it ain't
that
dead, though.
I know for a fact that you crank up your T-Nex rate that high and then you add some anew to it. My experience with that kind of application on non-green height turf is that is up to 21 to 30 days of grass has gone to sleep. Okay, that is the reality of it.
What is your base temperature for your GDD calculations too?
50.
Okay, all right, then yeah.
50 Fahrenheit.
If I did the math correct, you're somewhere around 400 right now.
Damn, bro.
Say that one more time.
If I did the math correctly, you're around 400 growing degree days right
GDD.
now?
Yeah, you're about 400 GDD.
Yeah.
But then to put a number on it, guys, what I see on lawn height turf grass when it is properly growth regulated, does 550 to 600 mean anything to you guys?
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, but that's what I typically see, and of course,
when I did the Paclo experiment, I would say I was probably somewhere around there too, and that was Paclo with T-Nex, and again I was running baby rates of both, and it still turned my grass super gray. Obviously, Paclo don't spray on common Bermuda; it will kill it. But
actually, don't spray Paclo on Bermuda, period, unless unless you know what you're doing. On on the other hand, Matt, like I was telling people earlier today, Cutlass, T-Nex, and a new was how I snuck away back in 2021.
Yeah, and I'm sure it didn't grow for a really long time.
Night,
Now,
night.
let me ask: can you still see the damage from the application, or has it mostly grown out up to this point?
No, I cannot. Now, here's the funny part, or not the funny part, the weird part. So when you did that, how to do a golf course style lawn in 45-day video, I watch that thing all the time. It's just awesome. But I remember when you made your application, I think you just applied T-Nex, or maybe it was when you did the Paclo. Really, what got you out of that color where you turned it gray? What didn't you apply zinc sulfate?
Yeah, I didn't have any zinc sulfate. I had zinc EDTA, but yeah, and I stole that, and I want to be transparent about that. I stole that idea from they were using zinc as a tool to overcome the bleaching from Pylex. And I thought, well, if it can overturn the bleaching from Pylex, sure as shit, it can ungray the grass from the Paclo and T-Nex. And I knew, like, I wasn't, sky high on zinc, so I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a whirl and see what happens. And it did. It actually worked. So I was shocked. Did you do the same thing?
So So I don't have the budget at work.
Sure.
Right now to be able to go and mess with Subvert, which although I want to. So I've been
sold it
using
anyway.
some
It
of the
doesn't matter.
branch products.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are really nice. I mean, they're chelated iron sources and stuff like that, EDTA, EDHA,
I've
stuff like
sprayed the
that.
shit
But-
out of brand over the years. I love it.
Say what?
I've sprayed the shit out of brand over the years. I love it.
I love it. It's great stuff. But I applied. I don't remember what it was, but it did have some zinc in it. It was zinc again, I can't correlate it whether it was the zinc or the iron, but pulled it right out. I mean, super quick, and it took it from that like you said, that grayish like color with that tip burn straight up back to green. But
I have an explanation as to why and how that got both of you out of that overregulation damage. Zinc is a very important factor for gibberellin synthesis in plants. It is important to that process. So if, for example, somebody is zinc deficient, there's a possibility that, for example, their turf grass will react very extremely and adversely to even moderate rates of PGR. Of course, that could explain why I don't have a problem with high rates of PGR, because zinc EDTA or zinc sulfate is always part of my fertilizer tank mixes. It's just there. I use it.
And if anybody is messing around with PGR, I'll go ahead and throw this out here. This is a true turf tip here. I know we hear that a lot on the internet, and a lot of times the value you get out of that turf tip is not worth a penny. But fun fact, you can hop on Amazon or any other. In fact, I'm going to do it right here live while we're on there. I'm going to open Google. I'm going to type in zinc sulfate. There's a tab called shopping, and I'm going to click that. Let's see. We have zinc sulfate high yield granules. Let me see what the purity is on this. Can I see the back of a label here? High yield zinc sulfate, 4 pounds. It's granules, and here's the deal: is that it will likely not dissolve very quickly. But what you can do is put this into water. Warm water would be best, and it's zinc sulfate monohydrate. And so you're going to want to do this the night before. Okay. If you got a mortar and pestle and you want to grind it up into a real fine grind, or if you have an old coffee grinder that you use for nothing and will never use for food ever again, you can use a coffee grinder and make it a real fine powder. Ray, what rate would you use per gallon at a gallon per 1,000 square feet spray volume?
I would keep it at 0.25 ounces per gallon per 1,000 square foot.
And that would be
here's
dry weight?
Dry weight, yes, Matt.
Okay.
And the thing is that everybody, please remember that with zinc, a few parts per million are beneficial. More than that can turn into a soil sterling. Please be extremely careful.
Point taken. So we're talking a quarter of an ounce dry weight. So get out your scale, your gram scale, and you can convert a quarter of an ounce into grams. So I'll tell you exactly what that is.
That is about 7 grams per. That's about 7 grams.
Yep. So we're coming in at 7.08 grams. We'll call it 7 grams. And then add that to your water. Now, here's the thing: is that typically, if you're using water from your tap, your pH is going to be a little high, and 7 grams of zinc sulfate is likely not going to be enough to drop your pH enough. So to stabilize it, you can add a little household vinegar. Vinegar is acetic acid. If you're using white distilled vinegar, and it doesn't require much, probably a couple ounces added to your gallon will suffice. If you have any citric acid, you can take an ounce of dry weight of citric acid and dissolve that in your gallon of water, and that will reduce the pH of your spray solution, right? And then you make your foliar application of zinc, and that is a real cheap way because here you're getting 4 pounds of just zinc. For what does this cost? $31.99, and a quarter ounce per 1,000 square feet. You can do the math on that. That's a significant number of applications. Now, again, this is not something you do every week. This is not something you do every month. This is a rescue type situation that you have gotten yourself into a foobar from a PGR application, and that's just a real cheap fix that you can mess around with. And again, it may not be perfect, but it's going to be better than looking at gray grass for the next 6 weeks until it fully rebounds and you get out of the
comes out of that regulation.
Fact, you might be able to still keep it in regulation and salvage the progress you've made of keeping it under regulation. So anyway,
don't be like me.
Everybody's got to learn. Man, if you don't mind, shoot me an email with your contact information. There is a guy in our Patreon, our private Discord that is going to be in your area next week, and he wanted to reach out with you, you. Okay, perfect. JP will share that with me, and then I'll put you two guys in contact. And if y'all can make something happen, do it. If not, no harm, no foul. But he at least wanted to reach out. He's an old head. He's a dinosaur, and so nothing but love there. So glad we can.
Is it the mail
at least
mail at thegrassfactor.tv?
Yes, and JP actually already sent me your contact info, so I'm going to be pinging you with Paul's info. So we'll be good to go.
Yeah, that's fine. One other quick question, or one other quick comment, real quick, Matt. I'll get you a little giddy before I get off the phone.
Okay.
I acquired a permagreen.
Correct shade of green.
Can burn in hell.
Do not tell me. Wait, what can burn in hell?
A steel green, burn in hell all day, every day of the week.
That's right. You'll sink it to the frame. You can't put it on wet grass. You'll muddy up a lawn. And then you could tell the men from the boys because they get on a permagreen and then they say their shoulders hurt. And I know for a fact you're not going to tell me that. And so therefore you have reached alpha male. And we can point and laugh at the safety vest green that we see riding around on the back of trucks because they can't get it through a 36-inch gate. And meanwhile, you just cranked out 8 lawns in a row, pocketed $400 off those 5 apps, and old boy's out there with this push spreader on the second Zoysia yard, sweating his dick off, and then you're heading on to the next neighborhood. So there you go.
Yeah, I was at a neighborhood a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, and there was a guy down the street with the Skag Turf Storm, which I don't know why he wasted his money on that piece of crap. and then there's a guy who was still green, and then one of the Z Spray juniors, and then I was on the perma green, and we were all within about a block, all watching each other spray on all these different properties. And they all pulled the machine off, go to get on the yard. It had rained the night before, and they all stunk. Like as soon as they got on the yard, I pulled the perma green off, went rolling, and they were all just staring at me like, "What is this guy doing?" And I'm about the size of Ray too, so I'm not, and I weigh like 130 pounds, so.
I would have been
What?
Hilarious
shit.
watching me whip this thing
Right.
around, but you do get
What?
some muscles.
Jason.
Man,
here's
I'm
the thing: is
so
that
happy for you.
unfortunately I don't weigh 130 anymore. I kind of blew past that. I don't. I mean,
You
that's
can't go past it.
yeah. I passed it. I went past 130.
Ray's been eating in strength training, and well, you're young enough that you probably won't be able to gain weight for another 3 or 4 years. But if you stick in the
I'm only
gym
20,
from now
so,
to
yeah.
then, yeah, you probably got 3 years, so you're going to gain weight. But resistance training and hypertrophy will really start to accelerate in the next probably 6 months, man. You could start packing on some pounds.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I'll hop off and let some other people get on here. I will. I'll see you guys the 13th. I think is what it is, and then I'll see you at the GIE, of course. So I'll be there.
All right.
Hell yeah! Good to talk to you, Jason. Be careful out there.
Yeah, man. All right.
See you,
I'll
man.
talk to you guys later. See ya, Aldo.
Yeah.
I didn't even say hey. What's up, man?
You good, man? Later, man.
But, all right, guys.
is
You
on.
guys have a good night.
All right, you too, man. Demey's
All right,
on. We
see ya.
don't know if we have sound from him yet. He is trying. He's working through the
Can you hear
gremlins
me?
of the Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God! Yes, I can.
Oh yeah. We
Oh,
can
talk to
hear you.
Talk to me, Demey.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh God.
I've got
That's
a
good.
terrible camera, terrible lighting, but I still have the good mic.
Oh
And
man,
you're pretty much only coming in my left ear.
I hear you in both ears, and
I
you
hear him
look
in
and
both.
Thank you
sound
for that.
like an absolute
don't-
stud to
don't-
me.
Don't screw with it. If it's working, it ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
You want me to go four
I
stereo?
wouldn't.
Four stereo?
God damn it, Matt.
Oh, sorry. I was just messing with you there, Joe. That was my fault.
And I had Ryan in my left ear and Matt in my right.
Do you want me to do this way?
Oh,
Is this
boy.
better? Or
No.
oh, okay, I'll put it back here. Sorry. I'm having
Saying
fun.
they can't hear me on the stream.
They can't hear you on the stream. Damn it. Maybe it was just they can only
Maybe
hear
it's
you in
a,
the left channel.
Tape problem.
Yeah.
He's-
If you're only listening with your left earbud, use both earbuds.
we will do the best we can, but you know what, you may have to only catch Demey on your good side, which is the left side, and that's, you know what, you should be thankful that you get that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Again, if you want to call in 304-804-7277. There it is. 304-80 grass. That's 304-804-7ass. There's another way to look at it. Caller, you are live. Who do we
Go
have
ahead,
the pleasure of
cowboy.
speaking with? Go ahead, fucker.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing with the videos and stuff, and wanted to call in. I know you'd already covered earlier what I was talking about with my front yard. What I couldn't properly convey in text was it was
Hey,
a portion
who
in the
is
middle of
this?
the front. Oh, this is your next.
Oh shit!
Ah!
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome, buddy. Look, with Bob
Hey,
still,
Billy.
he called in. He's like, I ain't worried about it. Damn it, I'm calling. I'm gonna talk to these old boys. Why do
Why
you
not?
sound like you're from the South and you're from Indiana? I got to figure that part out first. Hang on.
I
gotta get to know you
I
a
was
little
born
bit.
in Arkansas.
Oh my God!
Oh.
I liked you from
Oh,
All
the
right.
moment
terrible.
I saw
That's
your
terrible.
name.
I go down south. They say I sound like a northerner. I live up here, and they say I sound like a southerner. It's terrible.
Oh no, you sound Southern to me. I hear it. I'm a Tennessee boy, so look, you were at home. You're with good people here, and I am glad you're here. My God, thank goodness we got another Southerner here.
I'm glad I
Alright.
found you guys. I just the way you guys convey the information is so much more precise, and there's not. not to beat up on the ginger or nothing, but
We'll do
there's
that.
a lot of stuff out there, and it's so broad. Like they'll jump between cool and warm season grass, and for new people like myself, it becomes incredibly confusing. And a lot of these products are not cheap. It's not, you know how some of it is like, oh, well, you can put it on bluegrass. You're like, yeah, it'll fucking burn it to the ground. That's what you guys know. But you know, if you read the label, they're like, yeah, give us $100, it'll fix everything. You'll be fine.
Right.
And what's,
Right.
I want to get this out of there is that the majority of the time, I would say the critique that we get 99% of the time is you guys are way too complex. I don't understand anything you talk about. So to hear an alternative perspective, I'm going to take it as the 99 people that have complained about it are wrong. And the one that has commended us for being able to talk about it in a way you understand is right. All right. So what we have done is we have turned the tables on what is normal and abnormal, thanks to your good graces there. So I'm much appreciative. And that means to the other 99 people that said we're talking out of your element, you need to get up to your next level here. That's the difference. Is step up. To
Come
the
up
plate.
to our
Come on.
level,
Yeah, come on,
please.
cowboy.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
We
I
got a
think
new
some
guy
of it
here.
too is
Level.
that there's like a level barrier, right? So with being when I first started watching and trying to get into this stuff, I could see how that someone could get that impression. But I think that's people who just, like you guys say, you know, water first. You know what I mean? Just stick to that. If you once you get to the point where you're like, I don't understand why 30% of my lawn died for no reason, then maybe you should pay a little bit more attention and find out why you don't understand what guys like you are talking about, because it opens up your eyes a lot, or at least it did for me anyway. That's my point of view.
Well, I appreciate it. I was
So
being
what-
slightly facetious in my statement there. So what's going on in the front yard? You got burned grass. What is it?
So this had a center patch that likes to go dormant pretty quick. Now again, keep in mind this is my first year at attempting to keep my lawn awake during the summer. Last year was just a total nightmare with the drought and whatever. And so I said, well, this year my objective was to below 2 inches and have full coverage of grass. So I hit it as hard as I could this spring. I didn't do an overseed. I didn't feel comfortable enough with it, and it wasn't there. So I've been watering the hell out of it. This center patch, probably 30 square feet, wanted to go dormant. So I watered the hell out of it, and it got real bad thatch layer. It's again, my front yard's not a mono stand, so it is, you know, it's like a calico of just everything. This is a new property, right? So it's how do I say it? It's not shade grass. It looks like rye, but it's older. I mean, it's not great.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've got
so
a theory on what it is, but keep going.
Okay, so I cut it down, and when I did, I cut it down below the 2 inch, and then right as it started to go to seed, and it just really kind of zapped it. That center spot, right? So it stayed brown. I stayed watering on it and fertilizing on it, and then this weather hit, which is what I was talking about. So I put down Spectracide, or the fungicide with propiconazole. I put it down to application rate. Put it down second week of May, and then, like I said, the last week, I had 3 continuous days of rain after an entire week of 80-degree days, nights in the, say, 60s to low 70s, but humidity was 60-70%, and was no rain. Then the rain came in, so I thought, well, I better put a fungicide down because I have terrible fungus out back. Like I said, we took a tree down, and it is, you know, you've got the where the roots are starting to decay. It's just, I mean, it breaks your neck trying to push mow over it. It's terrible. And I saw ring spot, dollar spot, just about everything you could throw a stick at in the backyard with my rotary mower. Didn't realize I could bring that garbage out front, and so that's what I was afraid of. One of the videos, one of you guys was talking about it. So I wanted to wait till I saw some type of fungus activity before I put a broad spectrum fungicide in the front yard. I didn't want to be that guy applying fungicide when it wasn't necessary and going down that road. So what I did see, this is where it gets weird. So it looked like powdery mildew on the top, say, quarter inch of the blade, but it was colored. It was like an off blue color, and it had a little bit of what's it called when you water it and it gets kind of yellow down at the stalk. Not the dry,
like
when you overwater it. Like I had some, I had a little bit of that. Not bad. Over the fall or winter into spring, I noticed that a lot of the dead spots I had in the yard were from like brown patch and dollar spot. That was easily identifiable as the first green up started to happen, and it kind of went away, and so that's what I was focused on for this June. And but it's not fairy ring. I don't know if it is fairy. It looked like a hula hoop, because here's what I'm saying. So I put down some granular. It hadn't rained. I'd been putting tap water on the yard, which does not really, I mean, it gives it a little bit, but it doesn't give it that same pop as like rain. So the rain hits, and I guess whatever left granular was still there. Man, the yard really stretched. And when it did, because it rained for 3 straight days, it looked like somebody had gone out in the yard with a hula hoop and laid it down and kind of turned the grass in a counterclockwise circle. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't think that's good. It's like 90-degree angle. You know what I mean? That's not natural. So I put down the azoxystrobin, propiconazole, and Eagle, and I did them in between the preventative and like full rates. But what had happened is I'm spurging, talking too much.
No, you're good. You're good.
So it rains for 3 straight days, and I'm like, holy shit! I didn't get a granular fertilizer or a granular fungicide down. I've got to do something. So I got a 1-day window. That morning I mowed, and so the next day was supposed to be 16% chance of rain, not very much. I'm like, I'm good. I can do the mow 1 day, give it a day, apply fungicide, and give it another day before it rains. That's not what happened. What happened immediately was I mowed that morning before noon. It was a 90% chance of rain the next morning. So that night I put down the fungicide. It got about 8 hours on the leaf, and by the next morning it rained for another 3 straight days. And that's what I was asking in chat, which is I then got a 1-day window yesterday, and I said to myself, I don't want to apply it again. I don't see any fungus, right? I don't see an outbreak. Like, it's not getting worse. It's what I did see on the leaf is pretty much gone. And so the question I had in my mind was, the best course of action where I'm at is to wait and just apply it again on the scheduling, right, after like 10 to 14 days.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. It's because 8 hours is often a sufficient amount of time for something like propiconazole or azoxystrobin to absorb through leaves. Okay? You don't need an entire 24 hours.
Okay.
So you're good. You're good. I mean, you see, here's where I'm going to caution you. It is actually possible to do too much. Okay? And
okay, it's true.
The other thing that I'm going to advise you is, your grass, does it look like it's very fine leafed, but it wants to fall over? Is that what it looks like?
It does if it gets like with these multiple days of rain. Yes. When it gets about like 4 days no cut, it starts to want to do that. Yes.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking this is because I've become familiar with this type of grass called fine fescue. And fine fescue is one of those deals where it normally grows very well in shadier lawns. It can grow out in sun, but it does better in shade. But then the main feature of fine fescue actually is that it kind of needs to be mowed on the lower side. Otherwise, it falls over. Right?
We're gonna put up a picture, a couple pictures of fine fescue here, and see if this type of layover is what you see. Yeah, is what you're seeing. And would you say the grass is almost a grayish, bluish color
Silvery
Yeah,
looking.
it's bluish.
to the
Yeah,
green?
it's almost
Yeah.
almost like coppery. Yeah.
Oh, that's fescue. That's fescue. That's
Yeah, no,
and-
I think it is fine fescue. The other thing I was going to say too is now I know in Indiana, are you in southern or northern Indiana?
Southern Indiana, right on the
Oh
Ohio.
hell yeah.
Oof. Oof.
Oh God, you're down there near Owensboro, Tennessee. Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yes, it's
Oh,
it's
man.
down the elevator. It's the swamp with croup and fungus and
Oh,
mold
man.
and mildew.
Yeah, I've got
Eee.
stories about Owensboro. We're gonna have to sit down and drink several dozen bourbons and talk about Owensboro, Kentucky stories one day. 'Cause, boy,
Oh man,
I've
you're
got-
speaking my language now. I love me
I've
some-
I've got a list of them.
Well,
Boy,
I grew
hate
up on
that
a farm
city.
out here, and my father and grandfather sprayed. They quit counting it. About 15 million acres. I'm used to agriculture, but lawns is another. This is another. You know what I mean? It's easy to walk out in the field and be like, "Oh shit, I got rust," because there's no questioning it. You're covered in it from head to toe. Look like a Cheeto. You know, yards are a little bit more. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
No, you're all right.
No.
Fine fescue. The other thing it could be too is Poa trip. There is a
Oh,
ton
absolutely.
of Poa
I hit-
trip
I hit with
in that
Poa.
area.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go on.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I again, like I said, I'm first year of trying to get a full coverage of yards. So I did an early application of T-zone, and then did Toro City, which is like the generic for tenacity, and I basically gave my front yard fucking alopecia. That's what it looks like. So I found all the Poa triv. That's undeniable. There's like where it bleached it out, and then anyway. It looks like it was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful dark green. It was kind of like it looked way better than some of the other yards. And I was like, man, I'm gonna knock these broadleaves down. And I hit it and was like, oh my. Well, that's what my wife said. She said, well, way to fucking go. You spent a bunch of money and you gave the front yard alopecia. Way to go, guys.
Oh, no. Yikes!
Sounds like a typical woman there.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
So here's the thing: is that yes, you can spray Poa trip. You're not going to kill Poa trip. I'll tell you right now.
No.
The only way you're going to get rid of it would be very, very aggressive fallowing and renovation. So I wonder how much of what you're seeing, you're interpreting as disease, is Poa trib going dormant because it's hot as hell. You're in the swamp. I know that area you live in, and it's bizarre
Right.
how hot it is for that region. I wonder if it's going dormant, and that looks like disease. Now, the grass that's laying over, the Penn State mix and the garbage seed mixes you see from out that way of construction mixes are all typically going to have fine fescue, creeping red, sheep's fescue, all kinds of weird, just trash ass.
Yeah,
not what I would
mutton.
consider an
mutton.
appropriate. Yeah,
Yeah.
turf type for that area, but for whatever reason, it ends up making it in it. And so I could see that being the rings that are laying over. I genuinely don't think that's disease. Now, in the back, with the tree having been cut down, I'd say, yeah, you're going to be dealing with that, not just now, but for like the next 10 years ongoing as well, too. Just because you've got a monumental amount of wood that's breaking down back there, and then you've got C to N ratios you're having to deal with, and it just gets weird. And with that tree, Demay, are you here? I'm staring at
I'm
your
here.
old.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
With
staring at
that
Kitty.
with that tree being there, can you in balancing C to N ratios, in the amount of heat that's generating, do you think there's any other method of attempting to mitigate that other than just either waiting or attempting to physically remove it?
No, there's no other way. I mean,
Yeah.
there's- yeah, just get
I don't know if you had a
Renovaco from
magic
Sunbelt.
in your-
and, you know.
Well, thanks
Sounds
for
like
that
a
ray of
great weekend
sunshine, Demay.
What's
And
the,
usually-
what's the hip saying?
And
these
usually
days?
Ryan
Friends
is
don't
the
have feelings.
optimist. Yeah,
Right.
usually he's the optimistic one. Yeah, I'm usually the one that's shitting on people's parade here.
Yeah,
Ray
Ray said
right
get
away
a
will tell you,
D9
"Yeah,
caterpillar.
you're fucked."
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna,
the thing.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Matt's answer from like earlier. It's probably aliens, dude.
It's
Aliens.
crop circles. Yeah,
100%.
we've established.
Alien crop circle.
They caught them down in Arizona. I'm sure that they would be absolutely mystified by the meth heads of northern Kentucky there, because that would impress anybody at that, that level of
I said spots in
sorcery
the
that
yard.
goes
I
on
didn't
there.
say shadow people. Come on, man.
If you know, you know.
All right. I love you guys so much. I want to get back to watching and listening to other people and learning. And thank you guys so much. Thank you, Demay, for showing me your cat vomiting and being just an absolute black pill. I'm so happy that I was the person that brought you over to the dark side. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Thank you again.
Yeah,
okay?
you too, man. We'll see you.
Cat's not being sick. She's just yawning and being her usual self. Yeah. Kitty was adorable. She was a sweet cat.
Oh man, that is funny. Caller, you're live. Caller, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
First of all, how is everybody?
Dan, how are you? That's the more important question.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, Dan.
Don't worry about it.
I'm doing a lot better nowadays, fellas. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, are you stable? Do I need to control your tongue so you don't swallow it?
Well, that sounds kind of sexy though. So that sounds like a little sexual reference there for me, but I'm doing a lot better, guys.
It's Pride Month. I ain't worried about a damn thing.
Things have been looking a little bit better. You know, I'm still not clear, but you know, it's not happening a couple of days apart. Maybe it's happening maybe not like 10 days apart, but things are looking brighter. You know, I see a neurologist next month. Hopefully things get cleared up. But I had a question, guys, because I'm dealing with some bullshit around here that I just can't seem to control, and I've tried
Dan, it's
everything
it's
that
clear
I
what it
possibly
is.
can.
It's your boron levels, Dan. We know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, well, first of all, what's up with boron? We'll talk a little bit about boron. Because these morons on another channel says I need it.
We did, and somebody sent us a pallet of haterade today.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Did they really, man?
Yeah. Well, and I got the joke for that one is, you know what? I have haterade and meow mix for lunch. Try me. Make my day.
Well,
all right.
well, Ray, if you had that mix, did you at least sprinkle a little bit of that sazon that I sent you, that I told you about?
I sure will. Yeah. I'll marinate with mojo,
guys,
and then I'll give it a pinch of sazon for sure.
Well, guys, seems like I'm dealing a lot with some herbicide burn down here that I just can't seem to get around. I've tried some different methods.
Dan, I'm going to stop you right there.
What herbicide?
What's burning?
Yeah, I'm not using a herbicide because that's, you know, temperature-wise, I can't spray over this temperature or whatnot. But it's just like, it's non-stop burn even if I use low rates. And I don't know what to do anymore.
Dan. Yeah, Dan, let me stop
you. What are you spraying?
Yeah. What's going down?
For example, I'm using MSM, low rates of Celsius, and Impero, which is, you know, cheaper version of Sledgehammer.
Okay, Dan, I got to stop you right there. You know, whenever I've applied those herbicides, I always expect the grass to turn varying shades of yellow. And and you know what's magnifying your problem? You are now in a fertilizer blackout. Because here's my experience with applying that kind of a tank mix. If the lawn that I'm about to treat is not getting enough nitrogen and I open my bottle of MSM, I am going to turn that lawn the color of a highlighter marker. It's going to happen. The thing is that here's how you can mitigate that discoloration. The following week, you spray on that micronutrient mix that has all the micronutrients in it. That'll bring the grass back out of that yellow, discolored, stunted look. Okay, Dan? That's going to do it because, by the way, I got to tell you guys a good one that I did many years ago. A week before somebody's Christmas party, I shot a combination of Revolver, Certainty, and MSM over their 5,000 square foot Zoysia lawn. And my customer calls me a little bit freaked out saying, Ray, the grass turned this weird color a week after you sprayed. What's happening? Is it going to be okay? Is my lawn going to die? I go there to look at it. And I said, uh-oh, I did this. And what I did to get it out of that yellow discolored look is come out with the feature, spray that on. A couple days later, the lawn turned green again.
I'm trying to think of it from the standpoint of, like, all right, Dan's operating a business. He's out there. He can't afford to come back a week later and make an application on all these lawns. What can we do in a shit it and get it type situation there to alleviate this on the front end? Now, Dan, I'm going to be the bearer of bad news in that I typically could not avoid this at all, and thus I would be fertilizing at the same time with something with nitrogen in it, and that was
okay
because I never found the correct herbicide cocktail rate, whatever, to prevent discoloration, and that's why on everything I left a customer from May through October, and this is even in Augusta, Georgia, right, where it's hot. It's not Miami hot. But it's still hot as shit, right? And in that time period, everything on it was like, this application will cause discoloration, and and it's just to mentally prepare people that where I spot sprayed, it just the nature of it.
Okay, Matt, I gotta tell you one where I've sprayed a couple of lawns for a friend of mine in the business. He doesn't spray, but he knows I do, and because I know of the circumstances that those lawns are maintained, what I've had to do to mitigate yellowing, stunting, and discoloration from my applications is I've had to throw in 1/10 of a pound of N from Umax. Like, say I go in with like MSM and Speed Zone or MSM and Celsius because of the situation. I throw in that 1/10 of a pound of Umax, and the lawns don't yellow out as badly as they would otherwise. But here's the problem. Dan is in the state with all of the bullshit nitrogen blackouts.
Yeah, and you notice we're not recommending tank mixing fertilizer, micronutrient mixes with herbicides because a lot of times that can kind of work against one another. And I would even be reluctant. I'd say, okay, well, let's use something that's really chelated. But even then, I would.
Matt,
when you chelate something, exactly, when you chelate something, also there is going to be a percentage. It may be small. It may be 0.25% of unreacted chelant in that mix, and it doesn't matter whether you do it as a solid soluble or you do it as a liquid. There's still going to be a portion of additional chelant that is not wrapped around the micronutrient molecule because of whatever reason. And a lot of times that can wrap around and tie up an herbicide that you put into the tank. Or a perfect thing that you could do is, I'm not recommending anybody do this, but for all intents and purposes, for shits and giggles, so to speak, like for instance, you can take ferrous sulfate, dissolve it in water, bring the pH up to 8 or 9, and then add EDTA iron to it, right? And EDTA iron is not even going to be stable at that pH. But when you add EDTA to ferrous hydroxide, that's how you initiate that reaction, right? Because you have to convert your ferrous 2 molecule into a ferrous 3 molecule and then chelate it, right?
Of course.
So it's turned green. You've got your ferrous hydroxide, ferrous 3 molecule there, and then you add EDTA iron to it, and then all of a sudden it turns blood red, where you see that somehow, even though it's not a lot, we're saying a couple grams of iron sulfate that you brought up there, it was enough unreacted chelate in that mix to be able to go ahead and pick up that additional gram or 2 of ferrous sulfate that had converted into ferrous hydroxide. So I'm saying that to demonstrate is that you don't necessarily want to be mixing micronutrients with herbicides, because you can end up negating the effect of the herbicide. You will inhibit the discoloration of the herbicide by inhibiting the efficacy of the herbicide, if that makes sense.
May I explain
that makes sense.
why?
That's something me and Ray spoke about earlier, and he said the same thing.
Yeah, we talked about this because I told him, unfortunately, you cannot mix acidified or chelated micronutrients with a sulfonylurea herbicide application, because what's going to happen is
solubility.
The metals are going to literally react with and cancel out your sulfonylurea herbicide and render your application essentially useless. Now, if I were applying something like, say, the old school Trimec Plus or Super Trimec, then you mix whatever iron or whatever you want, and it's not going to negate it. However, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? We're not doing that. So we're talking about all of the low-rate sulfonylureas, and when you're doing low-rate sulfonylureas, the only things that I've found compatible with low-rate sulfonylureas are either UAN or straight urea. Everything else is reactive.
And also sulfonylurea typically it's going to be on the lower end of the pH spectrum. You lose solubility of that molecule as well too,
and stability.
Chuck Benzing said, using AMS as a crop spray adjuvant, because it is sold that way, and you can get it labeled as a spray adjuvant. And again, you're going to be manipulating the pH of that spray solution, and it could be bad. So
I got an idea for that one. That one. Okay, if somebody wants to do ammonium sulfate, I would then adjust pH back up to at least 6.5 with potassium carbonate.
Yep, you can use potassium carbonate. There's other things out there, Dan. If you message me, I gotta think of what it is, and actually I've got to email someone. If you message me, because you're in Florida, and I think it comes out of Florida, and I want to say it's called Release, and but I could be completely wrong on that. But it is it's again another one of these 2,5-B exempt hydroxide ions dissolved in a solution of glycine, and you can raise the pH up, and literally, like in a gallon, we're saying like a drop. So a gallon of it would last you a season.
Ever.
Now, would you be concerned, Ray? And this is just something to warn Dan or anybody else that runs into this situation. You're using a crop adjuvant that is ammonium sulfate, and because it is, I believe, because it is, if you carry a adjuvant label, you can use that in that particular scenario, Dan. So I think that is a way to do that legally.
I believe you can. I believe you can, because I don't think Florida. No, I don't think Florida can, for example, tell people, okay, between May through October, you cannot throw AMS in the tank with your glyphosate. I don't think they do that. I don't think they can do that, Matt. I've never heard of it.
And the other thing too is that this you're not using if you're doing it at adjuvant rates, you're not putting down 3/4 of a pound in. You know what I mean? So it's going to be hard to make that justification there that what you're doing is wrong. Point is that you have a case to stand on if Department of Ag ever stops you, and I would stand on that hill and I would go to bat for you if you ever need that too. Just keep that.
Yeah,
in the back
I will die. I will die on
will.
that hill too. I'll die on that hill too, because you see, we are not talking about throwing down a pound or 3/4 of a pound of N per application with this, in this scenario, because even for myself, you just heard me. What is 1/10 of a pound of N as UMax, Matt? What is that? That's almost nothing.
Yeah, it's
Literally
nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, that's just enough to keep me from turning a lawn from highlighter yellow. Okay, that's just enough for me to keep it from
So
going.
basically, you're just using that 0.10 of a pound of N just to use it as like an uptake and
to mitigate
as an
side
additive,
effects,
right?
Yeah,
and to mitigate side effects.
Yeah. And
I'm mitigating
and
the
this is
side
what I wanted to
effects.
say is that if you raise that pH back up and so you add the ammonium sulfate, we'll say you're using ammonium sulfate, your water's going to drop probably to like a 5.5, and you bring it back up to a 7. And again, use something that's going to require just a very, very, very small amount. Potassium carbonate's really safe because no matter how much you add, you're not really going to go above like an 8. So add a half an ounce of potassium carbonate and that's fine. But actually, with ammonium sulfate, I would not add potassium carbonate. At that dilution rate, you'll be fine.
Actually, there's one more thing that Matt.
Would you expect to be hit in the face with a nice little waft of ammonia? And I was just going to say, be mentally prepared. Don't go hanging your head over the inlet of your spray tank, because as you bring that pH up, you may get a separation of that ammonium and sulfate into ammonia gas, and just don't go huffing that because it's going to be aggravating.
Okay, here's the thing about free ammonia.
Or it might clear my seizures.
Okay, here's the thing about free ammonia, though.
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
No, free ammonia is actually recommended as a stabilizing agent for MSM. Okay, like if you need to stabilize a solution of MSM 60DF in water, I've seen recommendations put out by then DuPont to add household ammonia to that solution to raise pH and have that free ammonia. And what that'll do is keep your MSM from breaking down. But here's the thing, is that we're talking about bringing pH back from 5.5, which is what the ammonium sulfate will do, back to about 6.5 to 7, which is not a lot. That's neutral at that point. And so if you do that, here's the other benefit of potassium carbonate. That's K. That's a K source for the turf grass as well. So you're kind of doing two things that are good, actually. A little bit of N, a little bit of K, stabilize your solution, and also mitigate that yellowing, because let me tell you, there is nothing like somebody calling you a week before Christmas, all freaked out, telling me, hey, I know you were here earlier this month, but now the lawn is all yellow. What? I mean, I've had that call. So, but then moving forward, I got smart in that anytime I'm not sure of the fertilizer history of a lawn that I'm treating, I throw in that UMax. Okay? I just throw it in and don't even take a chance. Yeah? So that is just something that we talked about everything else, Dan, and I know you've asked me at length, but this whole yellowing thing post application is something that I know we didn't talk about.
No,
And
no,
I'm
we
sorry.
didn't talk about this. I just wanted to, get everybody's point on here, and I jotted down a bunch of notes from everything we talked about, so I appreciate it, fellas. And now it's just test and experiment and see which works best for me.
Yeah, but then I'm
Hey,
going to
well,
probably tell you
which works best and which is the cheapest.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's the
Which doesn't
cheapest.
give me the hardest work.
No, I'm going to tell you what's the cheapest. The cheapest is actually 4600 at 1/10 of a pound.
Urea.
That's the cheapest. Yep, urea. 4600. I mean, because like I said, I have to deal with these lawns that my friend gives me to treat, and here's the situation of the lawns. They're full of clovers, they're full of nutsedge, but not only is his fertilizer program very, sporadic and sketchy, the guy is also picking up clippings. And
removing
I love the
at the same time.
I love the guy, but he's telling me, "Oh, Ray, can you come by next week and spray this lawn for me?" And I say, "Okay, I can do it." And then it got to the point where, because it's his lawn that I'm treating, that's on his maintenance program, I add 1/10 of a pound of urea when I'm treating that lawn, because I know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Okay?
All right.
I know.
Sounds good.
All right, Dan.
That's pretty much all I got. You guys are always awesome on answering all these questions. Trust me, I'm always here taking notes, and I got a couple of notes to look over here too. So now it's time to just try and experiment. But appreciate
Elevate
you, fellas. Thank you
is the
so
name
much.
of that product I was thinking of. Elevate. Anyway, ping me,
Elevate.
Dan, and I'll send it to you. All right. Have a good night, sir. Glad you're
All
doing
right.
better.
All right, fellas.
There he is, Dan the man, Dan the lawn man, as a matter of fact. And it's one of those things that reminds you is that you feel youthful and sprite and all of those fun things until you don't, right? You have a little scare and reality sets in, and it's tough, especially when you're of working age and you got a family, and the reality of it all starts to set in. So to hear him doing better, making progress on that is a wildly positive thing that needs to happen. So good to hear that. If you would like to call in, the number is 804-304-7277. Or did I do that backwards? 304-804-7277. I don't know where I am. 304-804-7277. I'm doing the Slexia diss of applying the 3 and the 8 there somehow. I don't know how that happens. Speaking of age, it catches up to you from time to time. More nootropics, as someone said.
Oh, man.
Oh, we got a call.
Go ahead, cowboy.
Hey there, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Goddamn.
Oh,
Hey! Ooh.
What are you doing?
What's going on, y'all?
Another day in paradise. What are you doing? You snorting Maker's Mark and changing tires? What you got going on over there tonight?
Oh no, it just started raining while I'm trying to wash out the damn hoppers.
Of course. That is the most busy bees statement of the night. Washing my damn hoppers and it starts raining on me. Get your lightning pole, go hold it up to the sky and curse it one good time. And because busy, look, I've met a lot of people on this earth, but I'm fairly certain you're the one human being that could be struck by lightning and you'd stand up and you'd say, whoever did that was a pussy. That's what I know of you, sir. Is that all you got, dickhead? It'll take more than that to bring me down.
Well,
Oh,
what's
man,
that quote from who was it? Ben Hogan? if you're on a golf course and it starts lightning, just hit a 1-iron because even God can't hit a 1-iron.
Oh man.
That is a great line.
Oh dear.
What you got, man? What are you doing? What are you breaking?
I done broke everything already this season.
Oh, good. Is that what you called for?
Man.
Oh no! I called to add with Dan's comment because he asked me about the potassium nitrate, but he didn't ask about that. So I just wanted to see if y'all could elaborate more on that since I know he's watching.
Potassium nitrate?
Yeah,
Okay.
he asked me about that, and I thought he was flirting with a double-edged sword there because I mean that needs to be watered in, but everything else needs to
Yes
sit
and
for a
no.
little bit.
No, yes
Potassium
and no.
nitrate
now.
or potassium carbonate?
Yeah, you said carbonate, but he asked me about potassium nitrate.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
putting my brain together.
No, here's the
it's
thing
fun.
about potassium nitrate is that when applied at the rate of 4 ounces per 1,000 square foot, I've gotten away with not watering it. And here's the good part. Potassium nitrate is also non-reactive with the herbicides that he's using. Yeah, it's not reactive.
Yeah,
and in fact,
I was thinking trying to get away from that like burn. I was thinking maybe add maybe some iron to it, but
you
he also
can't.
brought that into the mix, and I was like, not 100% sure on that one.
Okay, here's the thing about with what he's using. You know, if he's using stuff like Celsius, Sedgehammer, Certainty, MSM, adding any kind of iron,
all the things I recommended.
Yeah, you know, anytime you add like iron, manganese, or zinc or copper to that, those metal ions destroy the herbicide. Okay, the metal ions destroy the herbicide, so you're literally limited to non-acidifying sources of nitrogen. That's what the best thing to add to a tank mix like that, and that's why when he asked me, I told him if I know my application is likely to yellow up somebody's lawn, just like that, I throw in about 1/10 of a pound of urea or UMAX into the tank, and I cut that off at the pass. It doesn't happen. Yeah, I think.
Right. And with that right there, even though he's in Florida with the Florida having the sugarcane crops and everything like that, could he not get the justification for like AMS or something?
You know, that's what Matt and I were talking about. In that you can make the case.
I
that,
started
hey,
like skipping and it started raining and my Wi-Fi went out.
Yeah, but then what Matt and I made the case about is that you can call the addition of a low rate of nitrogen to the tank. This is not a fertilizer. This is a spray adjuvant. This is a spray adjuvant. Okay, because even like, you know, when you're applying something like Katana, what do they tell you to do when you need to make it hotter for killing POA? They tell you to throw urea in the tank, don't they? So you can safely make that argument that no, I'm not applying this as a full rate fertilizer. I'm applying this as a spray adjuvant to enhance the effect of my herbicide application here. This is not a fertilizer because
right away.
Yeah, you throw in a little bit of AMS to make it better.
And you and me have talked about this because I will throw in crossbow diesel, MSMA, and AMS with a surfactant.
AMS, yeah, you can use AMS, and the AMS enhances uptake and efficacy of the herbicides, and likewise with Dan, he throws in that little bit of urea. That's going to be an uptake improver because here's the thing about adding urea to a spray mix. It slows the rate of drying of that spray on the weed. In other words, you add that little bit of urea to your mix, then what happens is that urea keeps on absorbing moisture from the air and making your herbicide application that much more effective, because then instead of that spray application flashing off and drying quickly, it just stays wet for longer on the weed, and the weed has a lot more time to take it up and absorb it and eat it. So
Speaking of urea staying wet, I've cleaned that hopper 17 times today.
I can imagine. I can imagine, Michael, because you try to spread a bag of fertilizer, and that fertilizer just starts taking up water from the air.
Oh,
Been
yeah,
there, done that.
especially
Know
with,
that.
I think we're 82 point. We were like 82.2 humidity with a dew point over 70.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
get that much.
Yeah, but then you can use that to your advantage when you're spraying herbicides in a hot area, in that you can utilize that urea to keep the spray solution wet on the weed that much longer. Yeah, it's that much longer
Yeah,
that
that's why I
that
was trying
spray
to run
stays
granular with the liquid spray mixes that I was doing today.
right. Or else, like what I do is I say, okay, 1/10 of a pound of N as urea in the tank, spray both together, and you know what that does? The clovers and whatever just toast. It just toast, okay? I mean, that's how it goes. So I think
I'm about to say, Ray, I haven't seen clover in 3 years in any of my yards.
I know, because you use
Unless
triclopyr in
it's
the
a new
winter,
pickup.
like yeah, because you use triclopyr in the winter, like we talked about.
Exactly.
That's why. That's why. Okay, I mean, but
I mean, I also
like
don't
I
see
said-
common Bermuda.
yeah, because the triclopyr killed it all. That's why.
No, because simazine and tenacity.
Oops. Yeah.
That works too.
Yes. Yeah. So then, like I said, we will go to bat for Dan if he ever gets hung up for this, and that we will make the case that he is not making a fertilizer application. This is a spray adjuvant. Okay.
Well,
We
I
will
want to
make
say I'll
that
go to
case.
bat too, because I wasn't fully understanding and I was hit and miss on that part.
Yeah, but then I guess now you kind of know what the situation is that because what's happening with Dan, and he kind of told me, is that he's picking up these, new onboard lawns, and they're of unknown treatment history, and they're salad gardens, and it's now almost July. And so he's in a hard situation, and so yeah, as you say, Matt, if you've got to shit it and get it, I'd put urea with the MSM and Celsius and send it for sure.
Well,
What else you
another
got?
question for y'all, and I don't want to hold up from anybody else, but what about Katana? What about Revolver or anything of that nature stacked with the Impero? With
That would be
the AMS?
Okay, here's the thing
Or
about
without?
AMS. When you're doing that class of herbicides, I actually prefer urea, because urea is neutral and non-acidifying. I prefer it because the deal with these, sulfonyl urea
I was
herbicides
thinking
is
about
that
telling him that, but I wasn't 100%.
okay, because the thing about sulfonyl urea herbicides is that their optimum pH is literally between 7 and 7.5. That's their optimum pH. So to go over that to go under that 7.5 or under 7 even, that's when it gets rather sketchy. So again, if somebody wants to add nitrogen, I'd say, yeah, a 1/10 of a pound of urea. That's a safe bet. You're feeling froggy, you add 4 ounces per 1,000 square foot of potassium nitrate. Watch what happens.
Right.
Right? But then these are all ways to get around it because I know exactly what happened. People are liking what Dan is doing for other people so much that they want the same, but then those guys missed his spring fertilizer applications. That's
They
what's
probably
happening.
also missed his early January pre-emergent and front-clear application.
They missed a lot of stuff. So, but to play catch up in the summer, it can be done, but I'm going to die on the hill that 1/10 of a pound of urea is recommended if you're going to do that. 1/10 of a pound of urea nitrogen.
With that being said, Ray, question for you. If you're feeling spicy, would you go 1/8 of a pound?
Fudge yeah. Fudge yeah. Hell yeah. I mean,
I just picked up a new HOA account, and I'm in the process of actually like doing the measurements and submitting the bid right now as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I got about 7.5 acres of their frontage, like road frontage and like their area, and then 40 homes that they want done weekly. And I was like, well, what's your lawn care budget? And they're like, well, we don't have a pool, we don't have a clubhouse, we don't have any of this. All of our HOA fees go into landscaping.
And lawn care.
The guy that met me, he's a lawn care. I don't want to say this because I don't want to give fucking a big head, but he's a nut about lawn care, and he's in one of the groups that I'm in.
He's one of those lawn care fanatics. Cool.
Yeah, he's like us, but he is yet to be introduced to the armpit of the internet.
Okay, fair enough.
Boy. We will haze him
what is your take on
appropriately.
this one here? I got 40 houses, roughly, I would say anywhere from 8,000 to 12,000 square feet, and about 7 acres. And I got my price in my head. I know all of this. My OCD and my precision of perfection versus what they see. On top of, I have 13 True Green accounts that have called me canceled with them say, hey, can you fix my shit? End of June, 1st of July. I want to push everyone until fall.
Is it tall fescue?
No, it's warm season.
Okay, you know what I'd tell you then? Warm season.
I would not push that until fall. Buddy, I'm loading up a fucking half a pallet of urea, and I'm going ham, and I'm smiling and waving at everybody as I'm spreading it. Hey, Mrs. Jones, how are you doing? I'm the lawn boy. And then 2 weeks later, after some rain hits it and everything's 4.5 inches tall, you come in and you throw in the karate chop at everybody. I told you, bitches.
And if they have weeds,
I'm doing all of that.
Okay,
I'm doing the mowing too.
Yeah, but then here's the thing: is that if it is like Bermuda or something like that, Bermuda in the summer is ideal for burn-in returns. It is ideal. If you
is it weedy? How what
pull
condition
7
is it in?
acres.
Does it look like garbage, or is it fairly decent?
Oh, it's complete fucking garbage.
Okay, you know what?
Okay, so that's exactly what I would do. A pound of urea, a pound of nitrogen via urea, at least a pound, maybe even a pound and a half of nitrogen, just from urea or whatever cheap that you've got, whatever you have laying around. I would just use it, and then I would fire up the tank mix from hell. You want to get real crazy?
Yeah.
Do a pile driver with Celsius or something, or do a pile driver and sulfentrazone, which is my personal favorite. But a quarter ounce per acre with the warm season grass, right? So you're going to do that backwards. Quinclorac is going to be highly effective on broadleaf weeds as well. And then that combined with the low rate of Pilex, I mean, your grassy weed control is going to be off the charts good. If you got any goose grass, it'll smoke all that out. And the sulfentrazone in there to catch any sedges. That's nice, broad spectrum. Shut the F up. And then you've got the fert there to grow in what grass remains after it's all dead. And I'm saying go an aggressive rate of fert because when you say garbage, I think it's going to be incredibly thin and a lot of fill-in needs to happen. And so why fuck around and find out, kill the weeds, and then wait 6 weeks to come back and let it grow in? If you start tackling the weeds in fall, then you're not going to be able to grow it in until the next spring. So now you have to maintain bare ground until then, which is never a fun thing. Like, you're asking pre-emerge to do not what they want to do, right? And so use culturally what you have in your favor there. So aggressively fertilize it to get growing whatever's going to be there. Use one of your whatever your magic cleanup mix. Again, I like the pile driver with either Celsius or sulfentrazone, and it's warm season, so I'm using
like the
6-8 ounces of sulfentrazone. It's going a pure burn and return, baby. We are not messing around. And then when you come back in 4 weeks to do your next application, you literally take your shirt off and you flex for Mrs. Jones and you say, "Who's the lawn boy now, bitch?"
Okay, and actually, Busy Bees, I will second what Matt says in that if it's warm season, Bermuda, now is the time to aggressively fertilize and then kill everything that doesn't belong there. Now is the time to do it. I wouldn't wait till fall because by then it's too late. Because when
I say fall, I mean August.
No.
Okay.
Now.
No.
Now. You lose daylight hours from July 4th until August 30th. You're going to lose 2.5 daylight hours per day. So your growth potential, your growth rate, all that drops. If you have to grow in any areas, trying to grow it in from August through Halloween is a hell of a lot harder than it is from July through Halloween.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. Yeah, and the other thing is now is that if this thing is a salad garden, here's what I'm going to tell you. You are going to be putting down your prodiamine split yesterday. Understand?
Wait,
yesterday.
What? Prodiamine? Who uses that?
Prodiamine. I do. I don't. And I'll tell you why I use I'll tell you why I use prodiamine in this case right now.
Regardless.
Is prodiamine does not negatively affect fill-in on a Bermuda grow-in. Because after you kill your weeds, right, in this situation, you're going to be in grow-in. And if you have too much indaziflam, that's going to cause a problem with grow-in. So, play it safe, play it smart, do prodiamine right now, and then do your, Esplanade or Spectacle Halloween and Thanksgiving as your winter pre for the POA and whatever, and stop this stuff from happening again next year.
Well, I'm also thinking of doing a compaction issue too. So I'm also thinking about aerating.
That is why you don't do indaziflam right now anyway.
Busy, I'm gonna whoop your ass. You're too far in your head over this. You're way overthinking this. No, you don't need to get out there and plug it. You need to fertilize it and spray it with one of your lethal cocktail mixes and be done with it. Getting into the weeds with aerating it and all this fun stuff and wait until the fall. You are overthinking this and complicating it. You know what you need to do. Fertilize the damn thing, spray it, and fix it. You know how to do this. You got this. Stop overcomplicating it. I will whoop your ass.
See.
Well, hey, I'll bend over in October if I don't do that.
If you don't do that, you will need to, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm ready for Matt, except I'm gonna have a 2x4 fucking sideways.
You ain't gonna have a 2x6?
I don't feel like lugging around a 2x. You're overthinking it again, damn it, Busy. All right, is that all you got? We're gonna get to. I think Justin from Canada wants to call in, and I want to give him the opportunity to apologize to him. Wink, wink.
Go ahead, cowboy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for calling, BB. Love you.
Love y'all. Appreciate it.
Bye. Bye. There it is. Yeah, so anyway, there it is. That's the end of the phone call. They're on a 20-second delay, so it's going to buy us a little bit of time here. Charles thinking entirely too much about that, and this is what RBL Jackson. You're asking me, does it work with that mentality in West Texas when it's 106 high each day? Yes, 100% it does. Your high temperature for the day is not your limiting factor. If you're worried about your herbicide application, your limiting factor is the temperature at the time of application. So yes, 100% Bermuda grass at that. Yes, if it's Bermuda grass, by all means. This is where so many people get into situations with Bermuda grass is they start thinking about this and they're concerned. Oh, I'm going to mess that up. I'm going to no. It's Bermuda. There is no thing to worry about. You literally have to worry about nothing except for a sheet of ice in the winter. And if you're not ice sheeting in the winter, and it's June, whether it's 199 degrees or 89 degrees is not anything you should be taking into consideration. If you got a cleanup to do, you fert it and you fert it aggressively as if you are going to be growing in that entire property, because you got to think about it. When the weeds are gone, you may be growing in 10,000 square feet of an acre, and you need that additional go juice. Then on the flip side of that, whatever your favorite cleanup app is, here's the other thing. The temperature limitations there, a lot of that has to do with damage, right? But you're conducting a full burn and return. So
and one more thing.
If it's 89 degrees and 90 is your limiting factor, send it. What are you worried about? A little bit of damage. You're going to smoke it anyway.
All of this temperature stuff, okay, is when the herbicide is about to be applied to a cool season grass. You see, this is where it gets. Yeah. This is where it gets very confusing, because when I notice people get all woo-woo about temperature is when they're in an area that has something like Kentucky bluegrass or turf-type tall fescue in addition to Bermuda. They're confusing the two types of grasses, because what, guys?
If it's fluroxapyr on Bermuda grass, I get it. You shouldn't be applying fluroxapyr to Bermuda grass anyway, unless you know what you're getting yourself into. If it's trichopyr on Bermuda grass, you shouldn't be doing it unless you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah,
but
because otherwise,
in this scenario, send it.
Send it, because if I had to worry about temperature, Matt, I absolutely would not be.
You wouldn't have time to do anything.
No, I wouldn't be able to treat anything. I wouldn't be able to treat anything except for a very narrow window, only 2 months out of the entire year. So
hey, let's see what the caller has to say. Hey, caller. Sorry about that. We were on a rant.
Yeah, we're on a tangent here, so forgive us.
No, you guys are good. So it's Dylan calling from Augusta, Georgia. How are you guys?
Oh, shit!
Hey!
What are you doing, buddy? I was just talking about Augusta. Are you still alive?
We're hanging in there. I think those shrooms would help me get through the past couple of days, but I think we're doing all right.
That's one of those. I got to trip so hard that it feels like it's 78 degrees outside. That we call that a hero dose around here. How's everything looking? So for those of you that don't know, our buddy here is he works for a very elite golf course. I'm not going to say the name of the golf course, but just know it is very elite. And now is the time of year where they undergo work. We'll call it work. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this time of year, how would you grade it on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of overall aesthetics?
Take your cheapest local golf course. And cover the bunkers with black tarps.
Yes.
And it looks like a goat track, and that's about what we look like.
There we go. So look, even in the quest for perfection, there is always going to be a period of time, regardless of who is managing it, what kind of management programs are at play, that sometimes you got to wait until the weather or conditions are on your side. Budget be damned. You have to use with what you got to get the job done. That being said, what's going on, dude? What you got?
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
So a neighbor of mine, actually across the way, they're new build, and he came over to me the other day, and he's like, "Dude, I need help. My yard is a crap show." So it's kind of been our project for like the past week. So interested what your thoughts are to kind of help him out. So they laid sod in February of this year, but it was overseeded Bermuda with ryegrass.
Of course.
So because they laid it,
fucking Augusta every
beautiful.
damn time.
Yeah, it was beautiful green. I mean, it looked beautiful for them to move into their house. However, I guess because it was new sod, he knows nothing about irrigation, nothing about any of that stuff.
Oh.
So I asked him, I said, what's your water? What's going on? His irrigation has been running every single day since February, 45 minutes a zone.
45 minutes?
Only one time a day? Only one time a day?
Yes. So it runs at 5
Okay.
a.m. is when it starts.
Oh, I love
Holy
this guy.
shit. Holy shit. Okay.
All right. Hey, look, here's what you have in your advantage is the Bermuda dead? No, it looks like garbage 100%.
Yeah.
Here's the big caveat. Even where you are, did you spray out the ryegrass yet?
Well, here's my next question. He just got me involved the other day. That's the first thing I proposed to him because in the golf course world, he's behind. So I proposed, hey, we can spray Monument. And because of how much water he's been getting, he still has a ton of ryegrass. Like he's doing things that, I mean, he's doing something, I mean, he's got ryegrass.
He's got azaleas that just bloomed. They think it's spring.
Yeah. I mean, so last week here in Augusta, we got, about 7 inches of rain. And this was before he contacted me, and he was still running 45 minutes a zone on top of 7 rainfall.
Jesus!
I love this guy. Oh my God,
man.
he is a walking disaster. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you
So
know
my
why?
question is: would you do the Monument or what? What would you propose
Yes!
for that? We've addressed the
Monument.
water issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. First of all, stop the water. Stop the water.
Yes.
And second of all, just like our conversation with the previous callers, your man is literally a candidate for a combination Monument and soluble urea application. He's a candidate for that.
Oh
because
hell,
he has-
I would spread it. I'd go. How big is the yard? You said it's in Evans, right?
He's going to be about 6,000 square feet, maybe a little less.
Perfect. Typical Evans lawn, new build out there. I can picture what the house looks like in my head. It's probably like one of the ones. It looks like one of the ones I wanted to buy when I was out there. Anyway, go get a bag of urea. I would apply half of it, and just spread it. Call it good. It is going to. You have leached everything out of that soil that has ever existed.
Yeah.
Right. So. It is so leached. I say you didn't do that. The old boy there has. So it's plain right now, and so hammer it with some nitrogen to get it growing, and simultaneous to that, apply your Monument by all means. Yes to all the Monument, full rate.
Okay.
Put that ryegrass into a suspended state because even in Augusta. I had to spray out ryegrass because you get a series of rain events. You know how people love the water over there, because it's tournament time all year long, baby. You never know when someone may come look at their house to rent. So
yeah, you got to rent that thing out,
exactly. I'm getting my 30,000 for the week. So the I would 100% spray that out and be done with it and watch it go away. Now, just like when you're growing in tee boxes and all that fun stuff, you're in for the wild ride here. So treat it like a grow in, like you would anything else. You know, I saw you using spendy stuff the other day. I would not be using spendy stuff. I'd be using the cheapest inputs I could. If you need to get a little spendy with it, the most spendy I would get would be like a bag of triple 13, and you know, maybe put it down now, and then again like a month later in between your urea apps, right? And the first one, I say go ham with your urea app, and then after that, you can start to back it down a little bit. You know how to do the grow-ins out there. It'd be effectively the same thing. So
gotcha.
But you are going to 100% have to spray out that ryegrass because it is
it's
not going to go
thriving.
away.
I mean, how much water's been getting?
Yeah,
I mean, it's thriving. I mean, it's you'd have thought it's March.
Oh God, yeah. And
Shut it up for the.
here's why. No, here's why I'm cringing a little is that when sod is first installed, I'm ready to bust heads when I hear about a once a day irrigation on new sod. Okay, I'm ready to bust heads. And you know why I'm ready to bust heads? It's because at one time a day, that means that the sod has the rest of the day to dehydrate and not take root. Because I still remember this call that I got later part of last year, where a guy calls me and he says, "Hello, I had St. Augustine installed and I'm watering it 6 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. How come it's dying?" And I asked him, "Sir, do you have any watering going on between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m.? He said, "No." Then I said, "You know what? Get a bulldozer. Your sod is dead. It's done. You killed it."
Man, I can't. Garden Earth guy had a great one here. He said, this guy's a good client because he doesn't care about the water bill. He will definitely water in anything you put on it. And I think that is funny.
For some humor, I asked him. I said, because like I said, he's new to the neighborhood. It's his first house. Him and his wife. They just got married not too long ago. New to home ownership, everything like that. So I asked him. I said, how's your water bill? And he said
more than my
he's
mortgage?
been averaging probably it's been about $240 a month.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
Yeah. So, but anyway, so all right. Well, I appreciate the
keep
time.
me posted on how that goes. With it being that wet, it's going to be funny until you start to establish a normal water profile. But once it does, it should take off like lightning. It's just letting it get to that level where it's go time.
Absolutely. So appreciate it, you guys. Thank you. Take care, and I'll update you. I'll spray some monument probably this weekend.
All right, brother. Have a good one. Good to talk to you.
Good luck, man.
All right, take care.
Tell Phil Vera I said hello, by the way, and that it's time to go home. Tell him it's time to go home.
All right. Will do.
some inside baseball there. One of those where you go to work and your boss tells you forget to go home, that it's time to go home, and he leaves, and you're standing around wondering what's going on with your thumb up your ass. Anyway, we've got time for a little bit more here. What's the plan here, J Pink? Driver, if you're going to call in,
we're calling Justin real quick.
Okay, all right, we're going to get this out of the way. When I say go, just hang up, J Pink. I'm just kidding. Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I know you fucking missed me. I know that for sure.
I did. How many beers in are you right now? A dozen or two?
About 11.
There you go. There you go, bud. Sucking them down. I'm alcohol free tonight.
Oh, that's okay. That's nice. Listen,
what's going up there in the Canadaville there, bud? Huh?
Oh, fuck. You know how it is.
When you turn it on the hockey there, bud? Eh?
Oh, fuck. I remember the last time you and I talked. Well, we didn't get on the right foot there, did we?
Are you worried about it, bud? You know, look, you'll get a couple beers in us, and everything goes on. We'll all be friends again. We'll hug it out there, bud. Eh?
No, fuck it. We can cuddle and do all that fun
Oh,
stuff
fuck
too.
it,
But
man. Fuck me,
I don't know.
bud. It's all good.
uh,
That's all the Canada I got. But how are you? What you got, man? What's your question?
well, Matt, it's been a minute, and you know what? I'm not because I know this. I don't know how long your episodes are because I do watch them, but the thing is, because I know you're all PO'd at me last time. I haven't talked or go in the chat or nothing like that because because I just knew you're all PO'd. So I was just like, all right, I'll watch the episode after after it airs or whatever. But in any event, anyway, it's just a general question. Right now on my yard is probably looking the best it's ever had in my life. It's fantastic. I got no,
All
I
right.
got no clove, I got no crab, I got nothing on it. It's just pure 70% rye and 30% fescue. And as you know, in a day or two, it's Canada Day. And what I'm trying to do right now is I want to do like a nice funky stripe, something different on the yard. Now the thing is I'm mowing right now at 4 inches, and I only have a push mower, the old Bobcat. And what I do is I talked to Ryan about there probably about maybe 8 months ago, and he's like, Justin, it's fine. You can go ahead and when you put, sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. If I drop the mower down, so what I do is I cut it up high at 4, and then I push it down to like 2, and I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because unfortunately, inflation up here in Canada is pretty son of a bitch. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out. I really want the diamond design. And about 2 years ago, I went back and forth, and then the next day I went the other way to get that diamond look. Is that the best way to do it? Because I really want it to pop because I'm having guests and people and friends and family members over. And again, Matt, I'm sorry I pissed you off there.
You're okay.
Ago.
You're okay, Justin.
And
you're fine. No,
you know what, man? You really lost your biscuit on you really lost your biscuit on me, man. And then afterwards, I woke up the next day and I'm like, fuck, I was an asshole or I was a piece of shit. And all
Yeah, you
this.
were.
And,
I was too. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry, and I just want your advice, and that's all I really got, man. Everything else is good up here in Canada, and I'm sorry again, and you have yourself a good night, and thanks for taking my call.
Hang on, don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere yet. Let's talk about this. We got to talk about this. So we're doing. You're talking about mowing diamond patterns into the lawn, right?
Yes, sir.
Like you want to stripe diamonds, okay? And you're using a rotary mower, like a Honda self-propelled or something like that.
Yeah, Bobcat, Honda mower.
Bobcat,
like a Bobcat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cub Cadet, what is your what is your width of your deck? Is it like 18 inches or is it on up there where you're 30?
Yeah, it's a small 18.
Okay. So what I would do is I would double the width of your stripes, right? So, you're going to do the same direction in one pattern, right? For two stripes, and then come back the other way, the other direction for 2 passes, right? So effectively, you're going to take an 18-inch stripe, and you're going to make it. You're not going to get a full 36 out of it, but you'll get it say 32 inches, right? And mow your diamond pattern that way with the double wide stripes. Doing that with a push mower is really the only way to get that to stand out, right? Because what looks so fantastical on fairways and stuff is the fact that they've got a big 72 or 80-inch deck, where they've got 5 reels in a row that they're mowing with, right? So then when they're running diamond patterns or alternative patterns on with that size of deck, I mean, even from outer space, the thing is just, it looks incredible. Do you have a stripe kit or any kind of roller on the back of it?
No, I thought about buying it, Matt, to be honest with you, man, but unfortunately, man, up here, I just can't afford it. Like, it's getting really expensive.
I hear you.
So that's why I was talking to Ryan and stuff like that, and he's like, Justin, what you do, because I follow Ryan Noor on Instagram and all that shit. And he's like, Justin, it's fine. It's not going to hurt. As long as you cut high, it looks great. It looks fantastic. But if you push it down, I do see some grass
and that's the one thing that drives me nuts because I unfortunately can't afford whatever, you know what I mean, like a striper and whatnot. But in any event, so I drop her down to 2, and then I go back and forth and back. Like I'm out here, it's only about 500 to 1,000 yards, and I just go back and forth, and just to see the beautiful stripes. And the neighbors come by with their kids, and they talk about it, and I'm like, oh fuck, man! I listen to these. They ask me, what do I do? And up here, like the only liquid we have is par 3 to get rid of the clove and dance or whatnot. Well, not the dance, but just mostly the clove or any twitchgrass or whatnot. So, but yeah, I really don't know what else to do. Like I really want a cool pattern. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm 46 years old. I follow your show. I know you got
happy fucking birthday. Hey, but if I was there, I'd buy you a bourbon. I'd buy you 2 bourbons, and we'd hug it out, and then we'd scream at each other, and then we'd drink more bourbon, and then hug some more, and then we'd scream at each other. Because Justin, this is one thing I can promise you about me, is that the way I am online is the way I am in real life. I fight with people that I love all day long, and then I hug them because I'm an asshole. I'm not a scumbag. So I don't want you. Look, there's a guy named Driver in the chat right now, and if you see him, I am so far up this guy's ass 90% of the day with just the worst, most horrific, mean things that I can say. And then I text him and I tell him I love him at the end of it. And it's incredibly abusive and psychopathic, and it's terrible. And I probably should fix it, but I can't because I am a broken-brained human being. So, yes, I will yell at you from time to time, Justin, because you happen to cover the one thing that set me off for no real particular reason. I honestly didn't need to lose my shit over it, but it was something I was sensitive about, and I just, I did what I did. The thing about the diamond stripes.
Sorry, Matt, sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Can I ask you a side question?
Sure.
About probably like 6 to 7 months ago, and like I said, because I thought you were mad at me or whatever. There was somebody that you helped donate, and he came on and he was ripping a new asshole over liquids and all these type of things, and you guys raised like 10 grand or 12 grand, if not even more. It was like I thought you were pissed at me, and you went in there and you did one of the most generous things that I've ever seen in my life, and you helped this guy out. So for that, I commend you for that, and for everybody else who's on the panel.
Well, that was for St. Jude. We did it for the kids with cancer and to support them, because we have this amazing facility in Memphis, Tennessee, which is actually my hometown. And I was born and raised there, and St. Jude is literally the hospital of miracles. That if you're a child and you develop cancer, and typically they go after the very rare aggressive cancers that have no survival rate, and they will bring them in and they will try state-of-the-art treatments in an effort to prolong, if not save, the child's life. And it's one of those things that if you get assigned to St. Jude, the overwhelming degree of probability that you leave St. Jude and
alive,
and spend time with your family is almost zero. And so what they do is absolutely incredible, because not only do they offer the most world-renowned treatment in an effort to do any and everything they can to save that child's life, to make them comfortable, and to console the parents and the families and help the families through that with therapy and everything else that you could possibly imagine St. Jude provides for that family in that time. They do it for no cost, and wow. in the States, that's unheard of, right? We don't do that. We don't have government sponsored healthcare or anything of the sort. So, the fact that hospital not only does that level of treatment that is literally the most advanced in the world, they are the most advanced cancer research institution in the entire world. They do it for no cost in an effort to save these children, and it is such an amazing thing. And we have a great friend of the show that has had cancer touch him at an incredibly difficult time in his life. And he turned us onto it, and DeMay really took the bull by the horns on that one and made it a reality. That was not me, that was DeMay. And but it's something that I think everybody that you see on the screen right now and behind the scenes, and everybody that donated and everybody in the chat right now, knows all about. And you know, we were fortunate. Not only were we able to do this during the show, $9,230. We also had corporate matching that pushed us up over $1,200, and that is it's amazing that we were able to do that. And it has nothing to do with us. That has everything to do with the people that watch. Because they were the ones that made this a reality. We weren't. Again, I'm the asshole up here that screams and loses my shit. And part of it's for entertainment purposes, and part of it I do it because that's what keeps me sane. Because I am an absolute fucking lunatic in real life. There's no doubt about it. So I appreciate the kind words on that. With your stripes, I would not. If you have a method that you use to get good stripes, I would repeat that, but I would do so at double the width, right? And that would give an even more pronounced pop. If you get better results of dropping your height of cut and bringing it up, and that's where you get your most defined stripes, great. Stick to that. I'm not going to tell you how to get the best stripes in your lawn because you know your lawn better than I do. But in terms from an aesthetic standpoint of creating a greater degree of visual appeal, widening the width of those stripes, you know, we call them double passes, right? Widening the width of those stripes, or what do they call them? Double, I don't know.
Double pass?
Double doubles. Double wides.
I've heard all
Yeah,
kinds of funny names on them, but it will. It's a different aesthetic that looks like a professional cut was put on it, and it gives it a little bit more wow factor.
Yeah, I was just because one time I did like the singles, and then I came back the other way, go to try to get the diamonds, and then I looked at the yard. I was waiting for the sun to get to that perfect moment, and it just looked like little small diamonds over my yard where I want that diamond all the way down. So I was thinking, like, tomorrow it's my birthday. I was like, well, fuck it. I didn't cut my yard for like 3 days. I'm a nerd like that, and I just want to make sure when my guests and stuff come over on Canada Day that I get that pop, like that look. I still get it anyways because my shit's looking so good, man. Honest to God, I watch your show. The unfortunate thing up here in Canada is we can't buy half the stuff or even 3/4 of the stuff that you guys have down there. So when you guys start talking herbicides and everything else, I'm sitting here, I'm scratching my head. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell to do because there's only so much. We only have Home Hardware and Canadian Tire and a couple mom and jobs places out here, so we can't get it up here. And as you know, is the way the government is. So, but you're saying go double fat, single straight, and then would you do it the same day on the other side, like go the you know what I mean, the diagonal area?
Yeah, and J Pink just threw up a link, and I'll tell you a real simple way to do it is to go to Google and type in double stripes, and it's going to be the first result from a website called Lawn Crew, lawncrew.co.uk, and it'll show you a picture of what it looks like. Then if you go down, it will actually provide you with animation or with visual cues on how to cut it in this pattern. But you have to think about it that if you're doing diamonds right, you're just going to crisscross it. And yes, I would do it all the same day.
Awesome. You know what? You guys have been on the air. You've talked for 2 hours and had a lot of calls and everything else. Thank you very much for taking my call, and I do apologize for that little conversation we had.
Apology! You're being way too Canadian right now. Wipe the fucking apologies off your shoulder. You sound like you're from the prairie lands. What part of Canada are you in?
Oh, I'm in Ontario, boss. Right by Detroit.
Ontario, bud. Yeah, right up there. Huh? That's why you sound a little Midwestern in you. I hear it. What's your beer of choice, by the way?
Right now, man, I can't drink Bud Light. I can't drink anything from him. Let's go Trump, man. I hope you guys get Trump back in office. It's time to get all political. But I want you guys to figure this shit out, man. Honest to God, man, because up here, Justin Trudeau, it's like a fat one.
50% of the Canadians in our group are right wingers. The other 50%, well, I'd say 20. If the other 50% are centrists at best, it's funny. It's hilarious to hear the U.S. political takes of the Canadians. It shows how much of a spectacle our political scene has become. It is literally entertainment for the world, and it's hilarious. America's in a very weird state right now, but. Hey, I heard that Canada is going to be banning. Google and Facebook will no longer be serving. Yeah, we'll be serving news anymore, and so it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see what state-sponsored news dissemination looks like in Canada, and we'll definitely be watching that
Yeah.
and keep us
Yeah,
posted on how that works.
if anyone's here from Canada, man, get a VPN. Watch everything right now because Justin Trudeau's fucking everything over. I'm sorry, I can't. It is what it is up here. I can go political all day long, but no, you guys.
No, you do. I knew it.
I wish DeSantos is the new blood that needs to come up. Unfortunately, Trump is still well, not unfortunately, he's fucking amazing. But Trump, he knows what he's doing. He's a businessman first, and I'm sorry if I pissed off a lot of people that are Go Brandon people, but I know I'm a Trump guy. I'm a Go Pierre Poilievre guy, and I'm done with this, man. Inflation, housing costs, our kids, our generations, it's fucked. But in any event, man, I don't want to get into all that, but I want to
You're
thank
good.
you very much. Again, I do.
You're good. You're
apologize,
fine.
And
Stop apologizing.
you know,
Love you, Justin.
let's go, Brandon.
All right.
Man, it's funny. It's funny because Matix is somewhere around here, and he moved to the States from Canada, and the guy is straight up. I think if he could be Trump's attorney, he would. And it's funny just to see the dissemination that has reached Canada and their takes on it, and it's wildly funny. Anyway, it's a weird world we live in. See, and I can be nice to Justin too. It's in me. It's just sometimes I gotta be in the right mood to be the nice guy. Luckily tonight I am in a good mood. By the way, in a good mood. We've got coming up on Sunday, DeMay is getting situated with all his new shit. He could not, for the life of him, get his camera set up tonight. And of course, he is balls deep in project season right now. Everybody, keep DeMay on your mind, because being a business owner and taking on the level of projects that he does in the tight time frames he has to get it done, considering the short growing season he has and the types of clients that he's serving. I do not have that left in me, yet DeMay is older than me, wiser than me, and still finds the tenacity to get it done. And guess what? I will look at everybody right now and say that we are all pussies in comparison. Because it takes a different breed of man and human being to get that done. And so shout out to him. Hopefully he'll be back on Sunday. If not, it is what it is. Life is real. Don't ever forget it. The Looney corrected me there. It's not banned on Google. They just don't want to pay for the content with the new Online News Act. I know. To be honest, Looney, I was kind of baiting him into that because I was curious what his political stance was. If anybody's wondering where I fall on the political spectrum, I am through and through free market capitalist. I am maybe even anarchist. In fact, I would say more than anything, I am so anti-government. I'm not anti-governance, but I am definitely anti-government. And I am 100% displeased with the State of the Union right now, because it is anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but I'll just leave it there. So
don't because you know what, Matt?
Definitely not. Join the Discord, and if you want to argue with me about politics, I'll do it all day long. Listen to a Michael Malice podcast and read maybe something from read The White Pill by Michael Malice. How about that? That's maybe we'll start there, and then we'll figure out the rest from there. By the way, no, never mind. I was going although I was going to go somewhere I should not have gone. And I don't know why I just.
Why not?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna. We'll do it in the Discord tomorrow after I've had a little bit of sleep and I am just on 10, ready to rumble. All right, love y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.